After 2 years and $7 million, Republicans on the House Benghazi Committee today finally released their report. Had a few new details about the 2012 attack in Libya that killed the U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens and 3 other Americans. The 800-page document includes a strong rebuke of the U.S. agencies that Republicans say were more concerned with politics than the safety of American diplomats. But the findings turned up no new bombshells about the then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who Democrats insist was all along the primary target and reason for this very extended Republican-led inquiry. And yet, during a Capitol Hill press conference today unveiling the report, the chairman of the committee, Congressman Trey Gowdy of South Carolina, dodged all the questions he got about the presumptive Democratic nominee.
The resolution doesn't mention Secretary Clinton. Speaker Boehner nor Speaker Ryan have ever asked me to do anything about 2016 presidential politics. If you, at the end of reading that report, can conclude that it is about one person instead of about 4 people, I will be shocked. If you read the report, you will see their report mentions her name far more times than our report does. I don't think you'll see any of that in the report. Is it in the report?
But he's promoting it right now.
And you know what? You're going to write a story about your takeaway from the report. I stand on our report. How my fellow citizens, including my committee members, read the report, how you read the report, what story you do on the report. You read the report. You will not see any of those quotes in the report.
There are bumper stickers and T-shirts all over this country that say Hillary Clinton lied, people died. Is that true?
You don't see that T-shirt on me, and you've never seen that bumper sticker on any of my vehicles, and you've never heard me comment on that.
All right, so everybody in this drama seems to be playing their parts. You just saw the chairman deny he has any partisan motivations. He said that all along.
100 witness interview.
Other Republicans in the House and members of the committee spent all day filleting Clinton, including for her handling of the initial attack and security. And in true Clinton classic style, Hillary Clinton reacted to the report at a campaign stop in Denver this afternoon by calling it an old story, a partisan witch hunt, and a waste of taxpayer money.
I understand that after more than 2 years and $7 million spent by the Benghazi committee out of taxpayer funds, it had to today report it had found nothing to contradict the conclusions of the Independent Accountability Board or the conclusions of the prior multiple earlier investigations carried out on a bipartisan basis in the Congress. I'll leave it to others to characterize this report, but I think it's pretty clear it's time to move on.
Man, John, the entire process of this, from Kevin McCarthy's famous comment about how this was politics, to the way the hearing went when she testified, to the report itself, where there's a minority report that goes after her big time, even though Trey Gowdy's main report doesn't. Republicans could not have played more into Hillary Clinton's hands and her campaign's hands on the thematics of how do you investigate a Clinton.
Right.
So my question is, does this report, with some new facts, is it so underwhelming? Does it end the aspiration of Republicans to try to use Benghazi to hurt Hillary Clinton's chances?
As you know, I have believed that aspiration has been kaput for a while, certainly as far back as when she testified in October and pretty much stuffed the committee into a basket and sent them off on a river someplace. I think this is now finished for in any meaningful way for any voter who's not yet decided in this election. There are a lot of Republicans who will always believe Hillary Clinton was guilty of some conspiracy, although the Gowdy report makes it pretty clear that she wasn't. They'll always believe that, and you'll be able to whip up some of them. But none of those people were ever in play for her. They're not in the middle of the electorate. I think it's dead. I think it's done. I think it's finished. And look, not surprisingly, given the number of investigations that were before this investigation, that this investigation basically has shown those investigations were all pretty much on the money.
Every time I travel around the country, almost without fail, I hear from Republicans who say, Benghazi, that's the silver bullet. Isn't that the issue? I think the email controversy is a bigger problem for her today after this report.
Sure.
And I have to say, I've been watching Republicans investigate Clintons since Arkansas. This was the most inept. You can do a serious investigation. You can have in the back of your mind partisan leanings and still fact find, oversight, seriousness. The confidence that Speaker Boehner and other Republicans showed in Trey Gowdy was highly misplaced. He's a nice man. I'm sure he was a fine prosecutor, but he was in over his head by a million miles.
Totally, and you saw that. We both talked about it. You saw that at the committee hearings. That's why the hearings to me were so decisive, because that was such a big moment for her. She finally went, and they were ill-prepared. They were off the reservation. There was a horror show, and so this just didn't surprise me that this would be still a mess, because that was such a big public moment. Always was going to be a bigger public moment than the report, because it was on television, and they screwed that up. I couldn't figure out why this would not end up being a damp squib, which is what it is.
Most anticlimactic ending since the driver's ed episode of the Brady Bunch. Just ridiculous. All right.
I love those. Those analogies sometimes are really incredible.